ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 36, beginning from verse 37. So in the previous class we read that when Aristasura was killed, then Sri Narada, he went to Mathura and informed Kamsa about the truth of Krishna and Balram, that they are sons of Vasudeva. They are hiding in the house of Nanda Maharaj and they are not son of Nanda Maharaj, and this is Vasudeva who hid them there. So then he got angry, he wanted to kill Vasudeva, but he forbade him. And then he called Kesi that he should go and kill Krishna, but at the same time he is also calling Akrura to bring them back. So that means he was not very sure. On one side he is sending Keshi to Vraj to kill Krishna. On other side he is asking Akrura to bring Krishna and Balram, and he called the Mahavatas, the elephant driver, and the other people, the wrestlers, Mustik, Chanavar, Toshala, Shala, etc., that you should fight with him in Dhanuryagya. So that means he is not very sure that Keshi can kill him. Otherwise, why should he do that? But he is very determined to kill Krishna. That's strong determination. So therefore he has an alternative plan. Those who are expert people, they always have an alternative plan. If this does not happen, then this, because they want to achieve their goal. Only thing is that Asuric people always fail, as Akrura will also tell him in the end. And this is because they do not know what is right action and what should not be done. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha viduna janana vidurasura. So what is pravritti and what is nivritti, Asuric people do not know. This is the main problem. And because of that they always suffer. Therefore in the same chapter Krishna says that we should take help from Shastra. Tasmas Shastram Pramanam te. Pramana means source of knowledge, source of right knowledge. Knowledge is there, all types of knowledge, but everything is not right knowledge. So source of right knowledge, he says, is Shastra. And what is it? He says, Karya Vyavasthito. What is Karya? That is Pravritti. What is Akarya? That is Nivritti. What should be done, what should not be done, that we understand from Shastra. Because with our own intelligence, we will be misguided by our raga and dvesha, by our attachments. And then we try to act in a way which brings harm to ourselves, harms to others. Aso maya hata satru hanisya cha aparanapi Ishwara ham bhogi siddho ham balvan sukhi. So this is Asuric mentality. Because we identify with the body, then we want to keep this body eternally existing, which does not happen. There are always threats to the body. 3 types of threats: from your own self, from others, from the nature. And you keep on fighting with that, but ultimately you will lose. That is guaranteed. No one can avoid that. So then you are in continuous anxiety. Chintam aprimeyam cha pralayam tam upashrita. So unlimited anxieties till you die. Pralaya. Pralaya means dissolution. Death is one of the 4 types of dissolutions. So this is how we are bound asa pashrita baddha. Kama krodha bhaya. So krodha parayana. So this is the situation with Kamsa. Kamsa is actually showing that to us as a mirror, that this is what happens if you go against Krishna. So the whole teaching of the Vedas, when Krishna says Vedaischa sarvairaham vedya, is that to attune ourselves to Him. This attunement with Krishna, that is the cause of happiness. And if we are out of tune, then we suffer. So that tuning, of course, is at various levels. Fine tuning, we saw in Rāsa-līlā, that even the gopis, they have to fine tune because some of them were not allowed to enter into Rāsa-līlā. So the whole thing is attunement. This is the essence of this teaching. And those who are not attuned to Krishna, they are called asuras. So that's why he says that there are 2 types of people. Devi, Asuri. So Devi, divinity means to be attuned to God, to Krishna. And non-divine is to to act against that. And that comes from avidya. So Tanvaji, have some question before we start?
Okay, thank you. So I was just going to ask a follow-up question on the discussion last time. So there we saw that Kamsa is ready to kill his own father, obviously tried to kill, I guess he's happy to kill Devaki and Vasudeva also, and everybody else. He mentioned the whole list. And I was raising the question about this cognitive empathy alone being, the basis of his actions. So he just understands how they think and they're plotting to kill him, but he's not concerned about them or their emotions or what they're going to experience, their suffering. But at the same time in that verse, he also, the verse explains that he is thinking that he's going to rule the earth with Shishupal and with Jarasandha, who he sees as his friends. So he's somehow able to relate with them, consider them as his relatives instead of his own father. But still, he's able to connect with them. So I was just wondering, and they're also asuras, right? They probably also only have cognitive empathy. So the question is, how do people like this relate to each other and make friendships then? It's not like he's essentially incapable of making relationships or friendships, but so I was kind of puzzled by this. That's what's puzzling me about his personality.
Jessica is bubbling with the answer.
I'm already preparing the slides for Saturday, and I was going to talk about that. Real quick.
Okay, Tanmeji. So when you have cognitive empathy, you can relate to people as objects only. So he's not relating from the heart as a friend. He's like, ooh, I can use you to accomplish my goal. So the friendship is not heart-based. It's, you see everybody around you as an object that you can use to accomplish your goal and to gain power. And as soon as you're done with that person, you discard them like a piece of trash, a piece of dead hair.
That's what he's doing. He's using Keshi, he's using Arishtasura, Bakasura. What is he doing with them? They're all his friends, so-called friends. He's just using them. So cognitive empathy does not mean that, okay, he's my friend, I will do good to him. No. So he's my friend, and he's my friend because I can use him for myself. And if I cannot use him, then I kill him, as he's doing with his own father. He said, I will kill him. Why? His father didn't do any harm to him. But he's thinking that father is trying to snatch, or he has wished to be the king. He's thinking him as a potential threat, not that Ugrasena has done anything to him. So this is the basis of their friendship, that if somebody is helping in their goal, then they are friend. Whether they are asura or not asura doesn't matter. He was calling also Akrura his friend, and he says, you are intelligent, you are the best, this, that. What is he trying to do? He's trying to just flatter him, basically, to get his job done. And if he makes any mistakes, suppose he goes and tells Krishna and Balram, they run away, because he revealed to them, or rather, right, he already revealed to them that he wants to kill them. So suppose now he goes and tells them, then you think Kamsa will still respect him? I will kill him. So that is the cognitive empathy.
So then is it fair to say that asuras as a collective, as a group, are basically individuals who have cognitive empathy but no other kind of empathy, and that inevitably in this group there will be a lot of conflict, because some point they're helping each other, but then once their goals become opposed to each other, then they're going to try and kill each other?
No, that is not true that they only have cognitive empathy. That's wrong to think like that. They have a common goal, but they also relate. Otherwise, why Casey is going to kill himself? He could have run away, knowing that so many people are already killed. So they are also devoted. So it's not true that they all have cognitive empathy only. Some are just dull. They are not very smart. And they are also educated people. They also have been trained. They have studied Shastra. It's like we read that Kamsa was very good in Arth Shastra. So it's not that he did not study. He must have studied Sanskrit, Vedas, all this. Being in a royal family, it was compulsory for them to study. But just that they are too much absorbed in their own body, basically, senses. Mohini.
Thank you, Babaji. I'll think about it more. It seems quite complex.
Yeah, it's not as simple as you're thinking. You have to be more cognitive.
Yes.
Mohini, bola.
Can you hear me, Babaji?
Yes, very well.
Okay, I have a question. We talk about this Adhyatmic form, the Adibhotik form of Yamuna or Ganga, I don't remember, and
Both.
then the Adi-Daivik, and we said, or you explained that the Adibhotik form is the river, the Adi-Daivik form is the Devi, the Yamuna Devi, and so who is the Adhyatmic? There is no Bhatta Jiva in this river, so who is the Adhyatmic roop of, for example, Yamuna?
So Adhyatmic means spiritual, Adhidaivik means those who are worshipped. So means spiritually they are spiritual being. They are devoted to Krishna. She is devotee of Krishna, wife of Krishna, Kalindi. That is their Adhyatmic status.
And what is then the Adidaivik roop of Yamuna, for example?
Devi, you can worship them as a deity.
Okay, so that's the deity form of Yamuna, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So somebody made a comment that Kamsa was very nice to Devaki before that voice from the sky spoke. So they have some understanding. It's not that they are just all right to exploit openly. Etas gyatva naya kshipram Ramakrishna vihar bhakau dhanurmakha nirikshartham drashtum yaduparashriyam. So he says that now I have told you everything. I have given you the secret. So etas gyatva, and therefore very quickly you can bring these two boys. He's calling them as Arbhaka, which means they were still very young. So Rama and Krishna, Balaram. And why you have to bring them? He says, what I have told you, that is the secret, that I want to kill them or get them killed, basically. But that is not what you have to tell them. To them you have to say, oh, you should come to Mathura because there is a big yagya, this big festival, Dhanurmakha. Should come there to see that. And all the cowherd people, they come bring some gifts. Ghee is needed for yagya, so they have a lot of stock of ghee, yogurt, etc. for making feast. Dahi chivda. So they tell them to bring all that. Milk. So you can make some paneer pakoras also. So he says you should tell them, and then they will be very happy to come here. So they will not doubt. So this is his plan. So this is what Niti is, that don't reveal the real thing which I want, and you will trap them like that. So this is how you trap the enemy. Lay the net, like you lay the net for the fish and put some food there, but inside the food is that, what do you call that? Hook. So then they get caught in the hook. This is exactly what he is trying to do. So idam rahasya tattvam na vachyam. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that don't speak this secret, what I have told you. Don't tell this to anybody. This is I am telling you. So why is he telling this to him? The idea is to take Akrura into confidence, so the Akrura thinks that I am very close to him. When some people are at a high position and they speak to you intimately, then you feel little intimate, close to them. You become more devoted to them, that oh, he really thinks I am close to him. So this is his niti. This is what he is trying. And he is telling that Vachyam tu etad idam aha dhanuriti. But what you have to say in case he asks, okay, you are saying don't tell this, but what is that I have to tell then? So he says, oh, you should tell this, that we are doing this Dhanuri Yagya. So Vallabhacharya writes, because this question was also asked about Akrura, he writes a very interesting commentary here. He says that Akrura has two mentalities. One is devotional mentality, another is little bit non-devotional. He says therefore that non-devotional thing comes out, like it comes in Samantakmani story also later on. Sri Akrura Vacha. So Sri Akrura said, Rajan Manishitam Sadhyak Tvav Svavadyamarjanam Siddhya Siddhyo Samam Kuryad Devam Hi Falasadhanam. So Akrura is also a very intelligent person. So he also knows how to deal with Kamsa. So he says that, O king, you have planned very nicely that you want to clean your dirt. Literally that's what it means. Swa avadya marjanam. Marjanam means cleaning, which means that you want to get rid of the threat to your death. But you should know one thing, that we plan doing things, but it does not mean that we always become successful. So he's already telling him that I don't think you'll be successful. He's not saying it clearly, but he's also not completely flattering him. He says, Siddhya Siddhyo Samam Kuryad Daivam Hi Falasadhanam. It's actually speaking Bhagavad Gita. Siddhya Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This is what Krishna tells to Arjuna, that you should remain equanimous in success as well as in failure. So this is exactly what he says, Siddhya Siddhyo Samam Kuryad. He says, remain balanced whether you are successful or not successful. Why? Why you think I will not be successful? Of course, so many people are already killed, don't you see that? And then he says, because the result is not in your own hands. So, Daivam Hi Falasadhanam. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says this, Karmanyev Adhikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana, that you can do, you can act, and you should act. But result is not always in your control. In fact, it is never in your control. It appears that. And later on he says that there are 5 factors which influence the result of any action. Adhishtanam tatha karta, karnam cha prithak vidam, vividhas cha prithak chesta, daivam cha atra panchamam. And the last one and the most important one is the daiva. And this is what he says here also, daiva. So daiva can mean your, what you call, fate. Yes. Or it can also mean divine, Paramatma. But fate is good enough. So there are many things which are already decided about us because of our past karma. So one of them is death. Ayukam cha vidyam cha vidya nidhanam eva cha panchetani hi srijyante garbhastasya eva dehina. So your ayu, how long you will live, your education, how much you will study, your vittam, your wealth, and mrityu, how you will die. How much you will live and how you will die, these are already decided when you are born. So in case of Kamsa, it is definitely decided. Even he heard it himself, that he will be killed by Krishna. For us it is decided, but we don't know. In his case, he knew it. And this is what he is trying to tell. Krura is trying to tell that Daivam hi phalasadhanam. At least now he should believe it. Because previously, when he heard it, when he was driving the chariot of Devaki after her marriage to Vasudeva, and then he heard this voice from the sky that he will be killed by the 8th child of Devaki. And then he did all that killing 6 babies, 7th was supposedly miscarriage and 8th one was girl. But then the girl said that no, one who is going to kill is already born. And now Narada Rishi came and solved the puzzle. That this boy is actually Devaki's 8th child. So if he has little brain, he should now know that okay, now my end is very near. It's impossible because Deva already is predicted. And although I tried to kill all the kids, but he still escaped. And now he is there and he has killed so many of these strong people whom I sent. But Asa Balvati Rajan Salyo Jesati Pandavan Gate Bhisme Hate Drone Karne Cha Vinipatite Asha Balvati Rajan Salyo Jesati Pandavan. So Bhisma is killed, Bhisma fell down, Dronacharya is killed, Karna is also killed. So first commander-in-chief from Duryodhana side was Bhisma, then Dronacharya, then Karna, then Shalya. Now Shalya is not counted anywhere in comparison to Bhishma, Dronacharya, Karna. They are terrible fighters. Shalya was not bad, but not of the caliber of this. So this sloka says that, O King Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana, whatever, that this what you call the wish indeed is very powerful, that you think that this Shalya is going to conquer over the Pandavas when all these guys fell down. That you still have hope. You are not giving up hope. After Bhishma gone, Dronacharya gone, Karna gone, all these people are gone and you still hope that you are going to win over Arjuna and Bhima. So Asha Balvati. So this is what Kamsa is doing. That how many have been killed, beginning from Putana. There's a whole line of the Asuras. They were killed one by one. And still he is hoping. And now recently Arishtasura was killed. But still he is thinking that he will survive, even when there is a prediction from above. So this is too much of hope. This is also one of the sign of Bhava, Chantir Avyarth Kalatam. Asha is included there, right? So devotees are also very helpful. We should learn this from him. Sometimes devotees become dejected. So nothing much is happening. You see, the Kamsa, the Asuras never give up hope. And devotees become hopeless. So we should be inspired by Kamsa. That is, he is not giving up hope, although he is on the wrong side. Why should we give up hope? We are on the right side. So that's why he is saying that Samam Kuryat Daivam Hi Phala Sadhanam. That the phala, the result is in the hands of Daiva. Whether fate is there, but beyond fate is also the controller of the fate. and that is Paramatma. So Manishitam Sadhyak Samyak. So you have properly deliberated, thought about it, created this nice plan. Svavadyam Marnam Tanmarjanam, to get rid of the cause of your death. Tadapi atra niti shastra vidhim shunu. So but still you should learn here the message of niti. You are very good in niti, but also hear this. And then he speaks this. So manishitasya siddha siddhau cha puman samam bhavam iti shesha. So whatever you plan, because what happens is that we become very much attached to the results, and that becomes the cause of distress, because we always want success, and when success does not come what we were hoping, then we become distressed. So he says that we should know that whatever plan we make, it can be successful, it can be a failure. So one should remain balanced in that. And this is very important, because if we do not remain balanced, then we get into the cycle of further karma. If we can remain balanced, we can get out from the cycle of karma. If we don't remain balanced, then because of imbalance, first of all, we will grieve, then we will not think properly, and then we are going to take a wrong action again. And then that wrong action will bring wrong result further, and it will become a spiral. That's how we get caught in the net of karma. So the solution is to remain balanced. That's a tough job. This is what Krishna said, but Arjuna said it is very difficult. He says that's yoga which you have spoken. Atmopanya samam pashyati Arjuna sukham yayadi va dukkham sayogi parmomata. So he said Atmopamena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna, seeing samta, equanimity. He says he is a great yogi. But Arjuna said that this yoga of samyata, of being equanimous, he says this is very difficult. Why? Because mind is very flickering. To be equanimous, we have to have a stable mind. If the mind is not stable, then it will run here and there like the wind, he says. That it is powerful like wind. So that is the tough job, to remain balanced, especially when you are hoping and it does not happen, when the failure comes, when we have expectations and our expectations are not met. That's a very big disturbance for the mind. But that is also the time for us to become strong. When our expectations are not met, which happens quite often. For most people, there are some whose expectations are probably met more than others, but generally our expectations are not met, and that can make us distressed, or we can take that as an opportunity to become stronger. So that is the key to success. It's an opportunity to become powerful, or to become degraded. That's also available if you want that. So a lot of people choose the second one and they remain caught up. So that's what he's telling him, that you still have a chance. So he yato devam adrishtam eva bhadram abhadram va bhaveti karoti iti. So he says it is the fate only which brings good or bad. Manorathan karoti uchchair jano daivhatan api ijyate harsha shokabhyam tathapi agyam karomite. So he is giving little more advice to Kamsa, although Kamsa is not in mood to hear. but he is speaking indirectly. He is not saying this to him in a straightforward manner. He says, Manorathan karoti uchchail jano devhatanapa. He says that people with great enthusiasm, they act on their manoratha, means their wishes. So manoratha means chariot of the mind. Mind is running here and there. To run it needs a vehicle. What is the vehicle? So our wishes, our desires, those are the chariots. We have many of them, not just one. Usually people have one car, right? It's not easy to maintain even one. But mind has got many vehicles. So if one is not working, it takes another one and runs. If there is a fuel not, you go in the car, there is no fuel, he gives up, takes another one. So he's always on a run. So that's why it's called Manoratha. So with great enthusiasm, we act on our wishes. Although those wishes are already Daivhata, they are already decided that they will not be fulfilled. So therefore it says Daivhatanapi. But work and work. So then what happens? Yujjate harsha shokabhyam. So then you get harsha and shoka. Little happiness, lot of distress. Like Chitraketu's son. Chitraketu's son was called Harsha Shoka. Right? He was very much desiring to have a child, and he worked very hard for that. If you see the number of wives he had, you cannot count. But he did not get. And finally, by the grace of Parvat Muni, I think, friend of Narada, or is the other one? Not Parvat. Angira. So by the grace of Angira he got, and the child was rightly called Harsha Shoka. Because he was already told that it's not in your fate to have a child. It is Daivhata. But he did not want to listen. Because when you are too much attached, you want it. This is what I said, that we should learn from these people, that how fixed they are for the wrong things. So we should be fixed like that for the right thing. If we can actually have like 10% of determination of these people. How much is Chitraketu, how many wives he had? And of course, it seems like exaggeration. Millions. Krishna had only 16,000, that's nothing. He had much more. So, the child was Harsha Shoka. So this child Harsha Shoka is the same thing. Child means the outcome of action, the result. So he was happy when he was born, then he died. So how much distress he was in. But he was fortunate to have the association of Angira and Narada. So he became perfected very quickly. He had darshan of Sankarshan. So in case of Kamsa, it's a little different story, although he will also attain good goal. So he says, although this is true, which basically he says that after hearing this, you should tell me that don't call them. But he says, Tathapi Agyam Karomi. He says, still I will obey you. Because I know that you won't listen to me. So I'll obey you. So that's what he does. So Jantu Nikrishta Loko Netu Bhavan Iti Praktuartha. What is Jantu? I don't know something. Maybe there is a word Jantu instead of Jana. Here the reading is Jana. So it looks like the reading was Jantu, because that's what it says. Jantu niskrishta loko natu bhavan iti prakto artha. So he must be calling him a Jantu here. Manorathan karoti uchchair Jantu daivhatan api. Jantu is also used in Sanskrit for animal. So in a way he is saying that you are actually an animal. Means dull-headed. So that is niskrishta loko. He says, but you are not like that. So it is good to speak, and then he said, I am not talking about you. You are an exception. This is about others. People in general are like that, but not you. So that's how the commentator says. Natu bhavan iti prakto artha. Vastutastu tvam jantureva pasu nirvisheshe. But in reality, you are an animal. Why? Because there is no difference between an animal and you. Nirvishesha means no difference. Same. Daivhatan apikarad daiv palitan manorathan karoti. So he says that daivhatan api, that api is saying that there are certain things which are favorable according to the fate and some which are not favorable. So palitan manorathan tatra daiva paliteshu manoratheshu harsha. So when you do things which are approved by fate, then you get success. When you do things which are not approved by fate, then there is a failure and there is distress. So therefore it says daivhateshu shokaha tabhyam jantur yujyate yukto bhavati. So therefore living being in this material world, they are experiencing these two emotions. These are the two prominent emotions in our life. Harsha, shoka. Tathapi evam api tavagyam karomi. Yato bhavanstu bhagyavan harsham eva prapshati iti prakto bhava. So he says that still I will follow your dictate. Why? Because you are a fortunate guy, you will be successful. This is the external meaning. The internal, he says that your end is over. It's very close by. So the way he is speaking to Kamsa is that yes, I will do it because you will be successful. Vastutastu tathapi yadyapi janto mumursho stavagyam kartum na yujyate tadapi karomi. But in reality, because you are about to die, and therefore I should not follow your order because it will bring your death. But still I will do it. Generally, if somebody is dying, you do their last wish. Right? Somebody is given capital punishment, and they ask them, what is your final wish? So Akrura knows that he will die. So what is his last wish? Bring my death. Somebody is to be given capital punishment, and they ask him, what is your last wish? So he says, you see this noose, put it in my neck. That's what he's saying. Means get the death personified here. So tavagyam kartum na yujyate tadapi karomi tab rajatvan mam tu tvat prajatvat. He says, because you are a king and I am only a subject, so I will follow you. Yadva athapi tab manoratha siddhopi mam tu manoratha setsye iti agyam karoti. So he says that, or the meaning is this, that your wish will not be fulfilled, but my wish will be fulfilled. I will have darshan of Krishna. So why shall I not follow your order? So you are not going to get what you are thinking, but I will get, so therefore I will follow your order. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, Evam adishya chakruram mantrinascha visrijyasa pravivesha griham kamsas tatha krura swamalayam So ordering in this way to Akrura and to his ministers and then dispersing them, he entered into his palace, Kamsa, and Akrura also went to his own home. So this is the end of this chapter. So he had a meeting with them after Narada Rishi came and told him the reality of Krishna and Balaram. So he spoke with Manthan, all the ministers, Akrura, everybody, and then he goes to his inner quarters. So this is the end of this sloka and end of this chapter. Any questions on this? Aditya.
Babaji, quick question. What is the relation between fate and karma in general?
So karma is action and fate is the outcome. But outcome, what happens is that when you perform an action, the result does not come immediately. For certain things it may come. If you put your finger in fire, the result is immediate. But not for all things. Even you eat food, you may get diarrhea after a few hours. Right? Not immediately. So then what happens? There is a law in cause and effect relationship. We call something as a cause, that when cause is there, then effect must manifest. Otherwise it's not a cause. So purva kshana vrittitvam karanatvam. So karana, or the cause, is that which pre-exists immediately before the result happens. Otherwise, how do we know that this is the cause? And anything else can also be the cause. We are only making a guesswork. So now we say that you perform an action and then result will come later on. So how do I know that this result is coming because of that action? And what is the relationship? Because the cause must exist. If you want to cook food, it is not that I make the fire today and I cook the food tomorrow. Is that possible? No. I have to have fire when the cooking has to happen, because fire is the cause of cooking. So what happens? You perform action and the result does not come immediately. Result comes later on. Then why do we call this as the cause of that result? Because there is no link between them. So there is a link, and that link is called fate. Means when you perform certain action and if the result is not coming immediately, then that action turns into fate which remains sticking to you. And when the appropriate time will come, then that fate will manifest the result. But now because people do not believe in karma, so they don't know this. Therefore they keep on asking, why this is happening to me? Why this happened to that person? So karma is complex in that sense. So fate is the outcome.
So it would just be hard, though, to oftentimes whatever results come to us, it's not easy to determine what the cause is, though, right?
Yes, but you can make a guess by seeing the result. So fate is an intermediary entity between cause and effect, basically. It's like a check, future post-dated check, fate. Tanmay.
Oh, sorry, I'm still thinking about this empathy, cognitive empathy part, and something just occurred to me. I just wanted to check if it's correct. I was thinking that fanaticism, this blind faith in one's own path, whatever one's religion may be. Would it be fair to say that that deprives persons of empathy, of any chance at effective empathy and compassionate empathy, closes them to other people's emotions and suffering because they're so fanatical now, they believe that they are the truth and everybody else needs to hear.
You see, empathy is one thing, but we have emotions and they get influenced by things because of our likes and dislikes, or what we call as asakti or attachment. So, for example, you get angry at your own child. It's not that you don't have empathy for the child, but in that angry mood, that empathy is pushed aside, then anger takes over. Because our mind becomes overpowered by a particular emotion, and then others are driven out, they go down. So then you act on that emotion, and then later on the empathy comes out, then you feel guilty. You feel that, oh, I should not have done this, I feel sorry. You actually feel it. But at that time you become blinded by the anger. Similarly, what we call as love also. So that can also blind your empathy for somebody.
So the potential for empathy is there, we just become clouded by our emotions and then we can no longer empathize with others.
Yeah, I mean, it is not that you do not have empathy. Sometimes there are people who do not have it, or their empathy quotient or percentage is very low. But then there are people who are normal, but in their angry state, that normal empathy does not function.
Makes sense. Thank you, Raj.
Because if that will function, they will not get angry. Anger will not happen.
There's one question from Ananta Krishnaji. He asks, can we say that Dronacharya sets the right example of how to deal with death? Because he also already knew from the beginning that he would die at the hands of Drishtadyumna, and still taught him, rather than plotting to kill him. Can we say his example is the opposite of Kamsa?
Well, I don't know what you are trying to get at. But opposite means in what sense? And he did not, he as a teacher, he did his duty. So Drishtadyumna came to study from him, he taught him, knowing well that I will be killed by him. Dronacharya is not an asura. He is different.
One question that occurred to me when you were saying that using the word empathy in relation to Kamsa was, in your usage of the word, is goodwill implicit in such empathy? Goodwill being towards the object of the empathy?
Well, generally when you are empathetic to somebody, then you feel it, and if they have some problem, then you want to help. That's what affective empathy means. I mean, in cognitive empathy, goodwill is not there. But in affective, right? Or compassionate. So there are three types of empathy according to modern psychology.
So what distinguishes then cognitive empathy from...
Cognitive means that you know that this is happening, but you don't feel for them. It's just at the mental level. Means you are not attuned to them, but you can understand that this is what is happening.
So what's the distinction then between that and simply conventional knowledge, or polity, or arthashastra gyan?
Nothing.
No distinction?
No. Arthashastra, but Arthashastra Gyan is not saying whether it is cognitive or not. You may have cognitive, or you may have the other one. Here we are trying to make a distinction. If one person has knowledge about others, situation, but doesn't have any feeling to help. And he knows Arthashastra. There is another person like Vidura, who also knows Arthashastra. He also understands, but he has also compassion. So that is what is called compassionate empathy. Means you can have just understanding and no compassion. That is pure Arthashastra.
And that would qualify as cognitive empathy in your usage.
Yeah. Okay, Bhadra, quick.
Yes, Pranam Swabaji. At the beginning of the class, you were saying that the problem is that in the Asuric mentality is that they didn't know what should be done, or they didn't have knowledge of Shastra. But in case of Kamsa, he was trained in. I suppose he was trained in the Vedic education. He knew, and he still knew that maybe he was doing wrong. Like, for example, taking away the kingdom from his father, but still he did it. So what is wrong with him?
Okay, let me ask you one thing, simple question. Do you sometimes eat chocolate or ice cream when you should not be eating?
Yes.
Why?
Because I like it very much.
So you get the answer now?
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
Better to apply it to oneself than always thinking of concern.
Okay.
There are so many things which we know they are wrong and we should not be doing them, and we still do them, all of us. Chocolate is a very benign example. There are many more dangerous examples. You have to take the mic, otherwise others cannot hear.
Maharaj, I wanted to ask about Akrura. He was a great devotee, he is a great devotee, but why Sri Vallabhacharya mentioned about him there is some kind of dual nature in him, and there is a story with Syamantaka. What is the reason for that, even though he has a greatness?
It's very clear from Syamantaka's story that he was acting against Krishna.
Is it association with Kamsa?
Whatever may be the case, that duality is there or not in his behavior. If he is a devotee, why is acting against Krishna?
Yeah, why?
So that's why I said that he has got dualistic nature.
But his devotion to Krishna was still great. Didn't that purify him from the other part?
That's the interesting thing. That's what he says. So means that is his explanation. I cannot speak on his behalf. I just said from our point of view, this is one explanation given. He took Krishna from the gopis, so this was an offense on his part, and this manifested in his behavior to act against Krishna, because that's how offenses work.